guys, today we're back on our deck profile, and today I'll be showing you guys my Predaplant deck. This is pretty much pure Predaplants for the most part. It's pretty fun. I've been playing this around at locals a few times, and it's actually a pretty fun deck once you get into it. I guess there's not much else to say, but just to get into it. So starting off, first off, you obviously want to run 3 Scorpio. He's pretty much the thing that gets out pretty much all your monsters, or all your Predaplant monsters. He's obviously well known. He's in the Predaplant engine on most of the decks in the meta right now, like in 60 card, like the 60 card variants. And obviously he'll search. You mostly want to have him go into Cobra. Cobra is pretty well known as well. He adds pretty much any polymerization or fusion spell card from deck to hand once per duel. In Predaplants, you can afford to run more than one. It's not that bad because since it's more optimal to run 2 than 1 in my opinion in the pure version here. Since you pretty much will be getting him into him more often. Next, 3 Predaplant Clamidai Sundu. This is pretty much polymerization on legs. So for him, you can use, during your main phase, you can fusion summon 1 Dark Mutant monster from your extra deck using this card on the field, and monsters from your hand or field, and or monsters with a predator counter on your opponent's controls as fusion materials. So if your opponent has predator counters on their monsters, you can use them as materials instead as well. Pretty much you can also you can use him to fusion summon a quick dark fusion monster from by using another plant monster or dark monster in your hand as well. So yeah, he's very versatile, and he's a really good 3 of in the deck. Next, 3 Predaplant Serenciant. This is pretty much battle fader for this deck. So basically when your opponent does a direct attack, you can special summon him from your hand, and after damage calculation, if you battle the opponent's monster, you can destroy the opponent's monster. If he's destroyed by battle and sent to the saved to the graveyard by a card effect, you can add 1 Predap card from deck to hand. So he's pretty much another searcher. He goes really well with a certain card in this deck, which layer on the deck, which helps get his second effect off really well. Next, 2 Predaplant Spinodinania. He looks like a Spinosaurus to me for the most part. But when he's normal special, you can place a predator counter, and if it's level 2 or higher, it becomes level 1. So that's pretty much what the predator counters do. The predator counters basically make your opponent's monsters go to level 1. And if you battle an opponent's monster with a equal to lower level, you can special summon a Predaplant from your deck. So he's pretty good. Don't really go in testing. He's really okay. You mostly want to have him you mostly want to be running into the lower attack monster because he's 1800 nowadays. Or nowadays you want to go into the little get over lower attack monsters, but if you attack a higher attack monster, you can just crash into something. He still gets the special summon, because if their opponent's monster has the predator counter, you would still get the special summon. Next, 1 Hydra. I might be taking this out because it's not that good, to be honest. I mean, I know it's like a kaiju in a way, but to be honest, I don't really go into it much. I might be taking this out for this, I can't remember the name. I'll throw it up on the screen here, but it looks like a pterosaur to me, like a pteranodon or something, like a pteranodon looking thing, but apparently that one takes an opponent's monster. I feel like that's way more versatile than this. So I might be, when I get that, I'll be switching it out for this. So, and then next, for 1 Banksy Ogre, he's a tuner. That's mostly why I would have him. He's a level 6 tuner. He's another kind of kaiju-ish kind of thing. But he's a little bit better because he's a tuner, and he can go into Beals if you can pull that off. Next to non-Predaplant monsters, you run 3 Lonefire, obviously, because Lonefire helps all plant decks, and you obviously want to maximize on them. And then lastly, from the monsters, 1 Glow Up Bulb. He helps get into some of the synchros in the extra deck. He's just really good plant tuner, and works pretty well. Next on to spells. 3 Allure. Most of your monsters are dark anyway, so this pretty much works really well. And this card that helps get the Serencient secondary effect off a lot. Fragrance Storm. I'm running 3 Fragrance Storm. This, if you don't know much about it, it's target 1 plant type monster on the field. Destroy that target, and if you do, draw 1 card. Then if that card is a plant type monster, you can reveal it and draw 1 more card. So this works really well with Serencient. I have to thank my friend Garrett. He helped me realize how good this card is in this deck. But yeah, so this thing has come up a lot for me with Serencient, because like you can just, if like with other cards in this deck to help, if you have Serencient in the grave, you can revive it, and then you can play this, then it goes to the grave, and then you get this free search, and if you drew into a plant, you get to draw another card. So this thing's very good in this deck, to be honest, and it's honestly, I'm glad Garrett, my friend Garrett actually told me about this. Next, 3 Predaplant. This thing helps revive and helps you extend in a way. Basically with this, you can special summon a level 4 or level 4 Predaplant monster in your hand or grave, but it has its effects negated. Even if this card leaves the field, and once per turn during your standby phase, you pay 800 or destroy this card. This is really good, because even if you revive Serencient from grave, sure, it's on field effect negated, but if you use Fragrance Storm on it, it still gets the graveyard effect because it's no longer on the field. And this also helps just extend and get some more field presence, and also help with grave modulations. I would, like, maybe I might be teching in a Dark Arm because of all the grave modulation you can do with this, but I don't know yet. Next, for more revival, you got 3 Predaplant. Again, just you want to keep extending, and this thing helps. It's pretty much Monster Reborn for Predaplants. Next, 2 Polymerization. You only need 2. You don't need to go overboard with Poly, to be honest. You can search it pretty easily, and also you have Clamide Asundo, which is pretty much Polymerization on legs, so you pretty much have 5 Polymerizations anyway. So 2 is just fine. Next, 2 Instant Fusion. This is good for extending, and I do run a Instant Fusion target in the extra deck, obviously, for this, and it actually helps extend into bigger plays. 1 Fusion Substitute, just another way to extend. 1 Refusion. You can search this off of Chimera Phalangia. Chimera Phalangia can actually search its own revival, which is funny. So this helps bring back any fusions you have in grave. Worm Raigeki, it's a board wipe. 1 for 1 to help you get your Glow Up Bulb and your Serencients out if you feel like it, since they're all level 1s. And then lastly, 1 Monster Reborn. Just, you know, it's because it's Monster Reborn. Alright, on to the extra deck. 2 Chimera Phalangia. This is one of the better fusion monsters they have. At least right now, anyway. Let's see here. So once per turn, you can target a monster in the field with a level less than or equal to this card's level and banish it. And whenever he attacks or is attacked, it's a quick effect where he can gain 1,000 attack and your opponent loses 1,000 attack. So this thing helps get over pretty problematic monsters that you normally would only be able to get over by attacking them. So this thing outs, like, you know, like stuff that can't be targeted with that attack anyway, which is nice, or that effect anyway. And then also, if he's sent once per turn during the next standby phase after this card was sent to the grave, you can add 1 Polymerization spell card or fusion spell card from deck to hand. So this thing is another thing to add your polys and your fusion spell cards. So he can search his own revival. So if this thing dies, you can get refusion and then revive him next turn, which is pretty amazing. And next, 2 Starving Venom. This thing copies effects, I think. Yep, it copies. You can target 1 level 5 or higher monster your opponent controls to the end of this turn. The card name becomes that monster's original name and replaces that effect with this monster's original effect. Yep. And if he is destroyed, you can destroy all special summon monsters your opponent controls. He's usually a stepping stone to Greedy Venom, and Greedy Venom is like pretty much the next stage of Starving Venom, to be honest. What Greedy Venom does, it takes a Predaplant monster and 1 Dark monster whose original level is 8 or higher. So you're mostly going to be going into, like, using Starving Venom for this. And it must be fusion summoned, and once per turn, you can target 1 face-up monster on the field until the end of the turn. Change that target's attack to 0. Also, that target has an effect negated. If this card is destroyed instead of the graveyard, destroy as many monsters on the field as possible, and you can banish 1 level 8 or higher Dark monster from your grave and special summon this card from the grave. So this is great. can make your opponent's monsters attack to 0 and then run him over pretty easily. And then if he dies, you just pretty much Raigeki your whole opponent's field, and then you can banish the Starving Venom from the grave and then bring him back. So that's really good, and he's a very important card in this extra deck. And then onto my instant fusion targets, 2 Theseus. I know 2 seems like a little bit overboard, but to be honest, for now I'm just running 2 of them. This thing helps to get into a few synchros and gets to a few synchros in the extra deck, and just helps for synchro plays. I decided to go with 2 just to see how many I can go into. I've gone into more than 1 a few times, but most of the time I've gone into 1, so you could cut this down if you so wished. And another institution target, 1000 ice, just to help steal monsters and to get rid of stuff pretty much. On to the synchros. 1 Black Rose to nuke the field, and also you can actually use its actual effect, which is funny. And its actual other effect is you can banish 1 plant type from your grave and target 1 defense position monster your opponent controls. Change that target to face up attack position. If you do, its attack becomes 0. So if you want to OTK, just summon a Black Rose, banish the plant, and go and change that monster's attack to 0 and just go ham pretty much. Most of the time you want to use the nuke. Next, 1 Beals. I've gone into it once or twice with Banks Yoga as the tuner. It's not bad. It's just obviously not much stuff can get over it other than kaijus, so yeah, pretty important. Next, 1 Crystal Wing. I've gone into it only once, but I might take it out for other stuff just because I barely ever go into it, but for now he's just in there. And then next, 1 Scarlight, which is a stepping stone mostly into Abyss. I've gotten first turn Abyss in this deck a lot, to be honest, and it's actually really nice. The fact that you can just get into this turn 1 is actually pretty good. But yeah, Abyss just there to negate stuff, just get some healthy negations, and then Scarlet, if you need to, you can blow the board and cause some burn damage in the process. Then last card in the extra deck, 1 Decode Talker. It's the only link I really think you really need. You don't really need it. You could take it out, but for the most part, I just had it in there just in case I need to go into a link monster. I will be putting in the plant link monster when it comes out. Hopefully, if it ever comes out, to be honest. We don't know when that's coming out. But yeah, that is my deck. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions about this deck, leave that comment down in the comment section below, and I will gladly take a look. And if you guys have any suggestions, if you guys are Predaplant players yourself, if you have any suggestions for this deck, leave that down in the comment section below as well. I'll happily take a look. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I should see you guys in this video. Have a nice day.